Hi, welcome to Shree's weight loss journey. I am so happy today because sometimes, information has to pass through different generations and then it reaches the right ones. And what I'm saying is, um, like my daughters, even though they don't necessarily believe in religion, they still hesitant on understanding what spirituality and the full sovereignty of that means. So they refrain. Like, no, I'm not going to call myself, spiritual. I don't understand what spiritual is. They have all of these different people having their own definition of spirituality. Yes, spirituality is an individual thing, right? It is an individual thing. However, you know, you have to be aware and strong enough to know exactly what that means, right? If you choose religion, these religious people have a representative, right? Like Jesus, right? Jesus says, no, you can't get to the doors of heaven unless you go through him, right? That's like a representative. Elijah is like a representative, right? If you understand what I'm saying, great. If you don't, you will one day, I'm sure. So, of course, in my grown up age, you know, and I noticed that there are other people who are my peer group who are thinking the same thing as you get closer and closer, to what is considered your life expectancy on this earth. Mm-hmm. Right? And for a lot of us, it's about purging. It's about building a legacy, and your legacy doesn't have to be huge, right? It just has to be something that you want to transcend time, right? And that could be something as simple as having instilled, knowledge, wisdom, um, or even sometimes, an inheritance to a grandchild, or a great grandchild, right? And a lot of, during these times, I know a lot of people will say, well, how did, what was the separation between the grandparents and, the children's children? Well, it was probably the men's. It was probably the men's, right? Because usually these men, knew that, they would not be approved as a suitor. So what they do instead is they discredit the parents, right? Whatever reason. Like the parents has to be almost complete angels. And even then, if they were an angel, they were not going to let them slide because they'll say angels are a myth. Okay? Hold on. But they believe in demons and devils. Yes, they do. Right? The first time they get caught doing some effed up shit, the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. And sometimes if they have to call a woman a devil, they'll do it. So every time I hear from my grandbaby or I talk to my grandbaby, I get so happy inside. I do. And of course, most of the conversations that we're having now is because she wants to. She's an adult now, right? She's coming up on her 21st birthday. And yeah, she's an adult now. And our communication together, is voluntary, because anything you do as an adult, even if you say you're coerced, even if you say you were threatened, whatever, it's still, ultimately is voluntary, because as an adult, you are solely responsible for your actions, right? So, that whole thing is me leading up to, yes, I contacted my grandbaby, wished her happy birthday, Leo. Yes. And what I love so much is that she is willing to listen not only to my spiritual talk, but she has shown interest in astrology. And when she said that, it was like, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Right? Because showing an interest is beautiful. That's the first step. I'm not asking her to become an astrologist. However, she might want to, if she likes it, if she can absorb it, and I believe she can. Because I talked to her, and she's able to line up her frequency to spirituality really good. And a lot of people are saying, oh, you're not supposed to, indulge in astrology. Well, before they had pen and paper, they used to have astrology. The sky was their chart. And this is how they were able to decipher, time, influence, stages of life. It's all up there written in the sky. But see, people who can't see, all they see is a bunch of dots. Stop off here and make sure I get me some water flavoring, because I don't drink enough water when I don't have water flavoring. I just don't. And I actually have to like the water flavoring for me to drink it. So I'm gonna run up in here and get me some water flavoring, and hopefully the lines won't be too long. But yeah, I promise you, I cannot just go in the store and get what I had intended to buy. So I did get the water flavoring. Check, right? But while I was in there, they had this cornbread on clearance for 41 cents. Okay? And so I bought some. Right? I mean, like, why not? Especially now that I know how to add fiber. Especially now that I know how to add protein. Why shouldn't I? Okay? Just doctor that stuff up and then turn it into something healthy. Yes? Because, hey, sooner or later, you're going to need those calories. Sooner or later. Okay?